Well, hi guys and girls, Emma again, welcome back to the spare room. This is not really a machining video, and probably some of you won't be particularly into this, but I've had a few requests about this. So this is my other huge interest, is sign painting. It is a pretty big thing. Commercial lettering with me is kind of something I do all the time. By profession, really, nowadays I'm sort of an engraver, so lettering is a big part of my life, and I like to letter. I wanted to do a shout out, and I'm about to post this off, and you probably won't see this video for quite some time, because this sign, we might just go back here a bit so you can see it. That's probably better. This sign here, just a circus style poster that I've done fairly recently. It's been a fits and bursts thing, and it's getting posted to a YouTube creator. The world famous Malcolm of Lincoln is a great guy. Go and check out his channel. He's good fun, and he does a lot of pretty cool stuff. But I'm posting this off to him. I've top coated it yesterday, and this is going to be on its way this week. So I thought I'd get this in the actual picture. I've done it sort of circus style with a big top star, and it's a bit of fun. Some of you might like a look, but go and check out Malcolm of Lincoln. He's a pretty decent gentleman, and he's good at stuff, and what he isn't good at, he fumbles along through, and it's always fun to watch. Great channel. He's been on YouTube a long time. But this is a 70th birthday party, 70th birthday present for a gift for him, and it's basically finished now, and it'll be in the mail this week, and after he gets it, then you'll probably see this video. So be sure and go and check out, because he'll have a video with unboxing it and everything. So some of you may recognise this board if you really have a look. It's one of my intro video boards. It was done a long time ago, and it's a bit rough. It was a bit rough, so what I've done is sanded the top off, and I'm going to have a bit more of a go at doing something a little bit different. So I've got a couple of sharp pencils. These are Staedtler Lumicolors wax pencils. They're pretty good. I like these. At work we use the Chinograph, the Stabilo Chinograph. I really don't think they're much. They're good on metal, but not so much on this. So as a rule, I tend not to use them for sign work. And all we want is a line top and bottom. And for this particular lettering style, we're going to go thirds. Something like that. Going to mark the middle. This board's about 600 long, that's 24 inches, so we'll mark it at 12 inches. to mark this out I want to put 6 letters on it. And I don't know much about this, and there's a lot of people out there in YouTube land who do. So this is just this is what I do, and in all honesty, check back in another 12 months and my technique will have changed and my style. Anyway, something like that, and you're sort of working over my shoulder here, which I apologise for, but usual gear, palette and some pots, some white enamel and a maul stick. Just got a rubber end on it, it's usually pretty dirty, and a decent brush. This is pretty straightforward lettering, and this won't take long to do just in plain white. These brushes are martial arts, which I really like. He's local here on the Gold Coast, Jeff Marshall. Some really nice brushes. It's hot weather and I'm not sure this brush is behaving as well as I can on on camera. A little bit of a twist both ends so that you use the corner of the brush. So we've got reasonable spacing. And some white letters, as simple as that, just bung them down. This probably wants some sort of a block, and when that's dry I'll mark that out and do that so it looks a bit more three-dimensional, and probably be an outline or a line around it, but it's really not that difficult. And most of it's just practice. So there we go. It says travel. So anyway, I filmed that back on the 22nd, I think, of January, and it's now about, gosh, it's the 14th of February, it's Valentine's Day, and here I am at home filming more. But this has sort of turned into a mail shout out. There's a couple of things I wanted to cover. Malcolm sent me a clock, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure what this part is. He might be able to fill out in the comment. It's got made in England off an elderly spanner of some sort. A couple of little nuts on it to hold that in place. And a clock mechanism. So that'll go up here somewhere. That's a job to do. Pretty cool. Thanks, Malcolm. It's nice to get gifts from people. And you didn't have to send anything back, but that's really nice of you. That bit of sign painting video got sped up quite a lot because there was a couple of gaps in amongst it, and that brush really wasn't behaving itself, so I'm probably going to do that again at some point, but I'm not really an experienced enough sign painter to sit down and film what I'm doing and concentrate on two things at once, so that'll come in time. Got a parcel from James White in Ireland, Killarney, County Kerry, which was kind of cool, and a brand new milling machine cutter, 4.5 by 3/16 by 1 inch, cardinal cutter. Thanks very much, James. It's something I'm going to put to use. I've got to make a rack for milling cutters, and that's going to happen at some point. I'm not doing a lot here in the workshop until it cools down, but that's going to be something that happens pretty soon. Now you might notice, just by looking at the utter disarray here, that I've got a locomotive in parts. We've got some problem with the quartering, and there'll be a video about that over the weekend. These wheels don't quite line up in the right spots to be entirely trouble free, so I'm going to take these down and press one wheel off and then Loctite them back on in the right spots, and hopefully we'll have sorted some problems there. Anyway, there's not a whole lot else to cover really. I've been away for last weekend and went up to Toowoomba, which is the top of the mountain from here, a few hours away, and picked up a new sign box, which I'm not going to show you because it needs some bench space. We might have a look at that at some point, but a new paint box. I'm really impressed with that. And it is pretty heavy and it's full of paint at the moment. I'm not going to lift it up here on the bench because I've got to shift everything. So you're not going to get a look at that today. And I also picked up a little woodworking vise. Some of you might have been following along carefully, or not so much. I had a little Stanley vise that I was using here on this part of the bench. And it's pretty rattly and pretty awful. Not really the answer for a lot of things. But I went shopping in the markets and I bought this as a Carto, Australian made Carto. It didn't cost me a whole lot of money, but it needs a bit of work. It's got weld and spatter on the top and it needs a good clean up and some paint. But the threads and the nuts not worn out, and there's not a lot of slack in the guide rods, which I'm really happy with. It's a nicely made thing. So that might go here at some point. If Try and think of a way of mounting it there with the, so it'll go under the bench. So that's probably an up and coming project too. It'd be handy for not so much woodwork, but useful for things like filing up a bit of sheet brass and draw filing, that sort of thing. So that was the thought behind that. Didn't cost me much, but that's something else I've done. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you sort of enjoyed this. If you didn't, I'm sorry, and we're back to the normal program next week. But more soon, and be kind to each other.